My name is David Desjardins. I'm a third year marketing and data intelligence student at Concordia.
Why did you start this petition?
I'm quite frankly, I'm just sick of seeing people dying. It's really disheartening. I mean, we have this pandemic going on. People are already dying. And then on top of that, we have the pandemic causing vast amounts of homelessness in Montreal. And then we're seeing homeless shelters overflow and also homeless people getting COVID more than other people. And then we also see them being kicked out of homeless shelters because they don't have the space, and you see them freezing to death. And we know we're getting colder weather now, and we know that people die when the weather gets colder. And it's just really disheartening. It's hard to find very updated numbers on it. But one of the most recent figures I could see was from Mission Hall, and the CEO of it says he's been seeing 100% occupancy. So that's obviously a problem when you see a homeless shelter with 100% occupancy.
Yes, and we have seen the tragic deaths. There have been 2 so far of homeless people freezing. Do you think that the government is doing enough to help?
I wouldn't even say that the government is doing much, to be quite frank. I think opening the Royal Vic for homeless COVID patients was a great first step. I just think there needs to be more needs to be done, for sure. I think anybody that can do something should do something. It's kind of like the dolly dilemma. You know, you have 3 people sitting on a track, and you have the option to pull a lever, and it'll kill one instead. If you don't pull that lever, you're going to have blood on your hands. So by not taking action, you are going to be guilty. You're going to have death because you refuse to take action. So I think that anybody who does not take action in these times where it's needed are going to be guilty and are going to have blood on their hands.
So yes, the university responded and they said no, basically.
Essentially,
yeah. Will you continue posting and trying to get students? What are the next steps?
Yeah, so I'll continue to keep people updated on the progression of this project. But if I'm honest, if the school says no repeatedly, I won't have much I can do on my own. But let me just say this. If you look around yourself, anybody who's listening to this or watching this or reading this, if you look around yourself, you're seeing right now individuals taking down Wall Street, and people are getting more and more power. And I just want to make it very clear that every single person has the ability to make a change. We all have the power, and our voices are important. So let's just put all of our forces together, and if we work together, we can get amazing things done.
Concordia has said no to turning the Grey Nuns residence into a temporary homeless shelter. And the CSU said that it won't be picking this up to pressure. Instead, they have their own initiatives. And I wanted to talk to you about what are the initiatives that you're thinking or already working on?
Yeah, right. So basically, I mean, as we all know, homelessness in Montreal is a huge issue. We just saw somebody die because of curfew. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that already. And also student homelessness specifically isn't talked about ever. Basically with emergency housing, it's a very short-term solution. You can provide them space for a couple of weeks, but then what happens after that? Do they just go back out, or how are we going to transition them out? And so kind of 2 separate models is the possibility of using residents as emergency shelter for a couple nights if needed, or partnering with hotels nearby. But then the more longer term solution would be to help lease out a space. And also, in addition to all this, making sure that students have sort of the social work aspect as well to it. So like being assigned a social worker and kind of helping them through sort of whatever they're kind of struggling with and why exactly they're in that situation.